How do you distinguish the premium brands against the low quality sellers on Amazon?
When you leave negative reviews, that doesn't even scratch the surface.
What are the systems that you have in place in order to prevent fake items getting through Amazon FBA?
And another thing we're doing now is that we have seen over and over again is
what are the tools available within Amazon in order to showcase your premium brand?
So you have to definitely stand out from the competition.
So when the brands comes in, how do you find the right ICP for that product?
Ecomm Squeezed podcast.
Welcome back to Ecomm Squeezed. I am your host, Sebastian, founder of Retail-Outsource. And today we got a guest who brings serious firepower, both from Street of Amazon and the stage of luxury events. Joining me is Silvia, founder of Ecomm Hero Academy. She started her Amazon journey in 2018. She used to sell on eBay as well before that. She hit like 6 figures in just 6 months. Today, we are diving into the unique challenges and massive opportunities for luxury and premium brands on Amazon and how to sell without selling out. Silvia, welcome to the show.
Seb, thank you so much for the lovely introduction and for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. Good afternoon, everybody from the UK. Yes, I hit 6 figures in 6 months in 2018 with a granny trolley. Was living, proper immigrant, was living in a house with 9 people, and I did everything from literally my bedroom and with a granny trolley traveling across London with bus and public transport. So I always love to share the journey because with Amazon is still, it was and still is a great opportunity. So I'm excited for, keep going tonight and then see how we can support brand owners tonight.
Yeah. I can feel like I can share the same thing because I used to sell on eBay at the starting back in 2007 when I was in London. So I used to rent a room and the landlord kicked me out because I got so much stock. So then I have to take a full house, then that got full, then I have to take a real warehouse. Yeah. So, I share the same feeling going around London and stuff like that, but it's a learning curve.
Right in beginnings, yeah.
Yes. Hard way to learn. Great. So, my first question is, on Amazon, it's very hard for premium or luxury brands to sell because the main selling point or algorithm favors low price item. So how do you distinguish the premium brands against the low quality sellers on Amazon?
It's a great question, and I guess it's a $1 million kind of question, right? If we had the perfect answer that works for every single brand, I would be definitely like a billionaire. And I want to say that what we found more and more is that Amazon keep changes, right? It has happened since back in the days and still is. And with the AI and Rufus coming in full force, is the whole algorithm right now, I believe, to be a bit of a question mark. Amazon Prime Day was definitely different for a lot of agencies and a lot of brands this year compared to the previous year. So we're all navigating to understand and stay ahead of the curve. And one of the ace in the pockets, shall we call it this way, Sab, for premium brands is to actually work with agencies that think outside the box. They're always ahead of the curve and the competition in their specific niche, and testing. It's not like before. You can't just do one thing, put it out there, and then pray that it will keep going that way, because at the end of the day, you have premium brands also have a lot of resellers kind of issues, a lot of resellers who back in the days created the listing for the premium brands, and now they find themselves on Amazon without having the control over the listing and their own brand. And I spoke with some, I'm not gonna name names, but some big premium brands who lost assets, listings with thousands of ratings, multiple 6 figures a month kind of assets, because they were not the owner of their own brand on Amazon, literally. So you probably have seen this a lot, right? So back in the days, you could just let me put on some, Kleenex or whatever, Munchkin or Lancino with a GT in a barcode bought on eBay. That was still possible. So that now, brands are paying the price in that sense. So I would 100% say work with agencies and creatives to think outside the box, to make you recover the power over your assets so you don't lose the assets, and then also that can make you stand out, keeping the branding.
Oh, that's a very detailed answer, Silvia. You mentioned a lot of points. Agency will be the right, if you're a big brand, agency will be the go-to, because there are so much variables. Right? There's small things. At some point down the line, it will not impact straight away, but as you mentioned, the barcode. When you list it, sometimes it will be fine. After maybe 6 months, Amazon flag, right? Take your listing down. Do you have any experience like that? Like an example that you can provide now, share with the viewers?
We're currently working with this manufacturer, and their line of business has been, for the past 40 years, always like they are the manufacturer and then they sell in bulk quantities to set amount of distributors. And this is the way they have been worked. Then the distributors sold to Amazon sellers, so to third-party sellers. We have been selling ourselves this brand for like 4 or 5 years. And then literally overnight, we found ourselves with 84 ASINs removed from the catalog. Overnight. So back in the days, the brand didn't want to work with me directly because they're very loyal. This is also why I love working with them, because we are the same. We really align in terms of values. So, and I was like, okay, this is bad. It's not bad for me and that's it. It's bad for other sellers, and it's really bad for them. And they don't even know how bad it is, because selling to distributors, they had no idea how much of that volume was actually sold to Amazon sellers. But we were talking about, and we're still talking about, listings that they've been on since 2017, listing that are number one bestseller in the niche organically, and still are. So I got in touch with them, and we were able to actually correct the GTIN. So how hard it is. I have a very strong tech team, so we can support. You don't have to actually lose your asset. We can merge the children, the variations, so then we can merge the reviews as well. So instead of having 250 and 30, you're gonna have like a nice 300 reviews. We got them back. We did the creatives for them, with them. And now they're number one bestseller organically. And we've been working with them for over a year, and now we're going to stay with them for another 6 months. So the opportunity is crazy.
That's great. That's a great answer, Silvia. From my experience, when someone starts selling on Amazon, they put it as a premium brand. So they don't know what premium brand is. They just define as a premium brand. In your experience, what defines a premium brand?
That is a really great question. We have seen over the years, as a reseller and also as an agency, more like a newborn kind of agency, the cheap end of Amazon, the cheap end of the products. This brand we're talking about right now is a baby products manufacturer, and their quality is one of the top qualities worldwide. The level of detailing, the safety for the newborns, because we as resellers, we were mainly focusing on baby products, because I have a 5-year-old. So for me, it's like, do what you love, do what you know, and it just made a lot of sense. Amazon brands on Amazon, especially the cheap end, are crazy. And resellers as well are a bit of a far west, if you ask me. A lot of manufacturers coming from China, for example, they've been literally stealing listings with already great algorithm, great ratings, and made it theirs. So if it was brand name Sebastian Joseph, then next day is like Silvia Ecomm hero, thousands of rating, 4.5 stars, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then it's not. But sometimes these cheap end brands is really, really hard when you leave negative reviews that doesn't even scratch the surface. When actually premium brands get a negative review, more often than ever, get very affected in their sales. That's what we are seeing. Also from buying reviews, sometimes you always get a Karen sometimes.
Yeah.
Buying Karen.
That's true. That's very true, Silvia. You mentioned about the resellers, right? So there is a chance, for example, if a wholesaler is selling through other retailers, there's always a chance that some fakes comes in right in between. So what are the systems that you have in place in order to prevent fake items getting through Amazon FBA?
Yeah. So of course, a lot of brands are now enrolling in more the transparency systems. We have clients who have not wanted for us to enroll them. So the way we do it is that we laid out list of reliable, great sellers, third-party sellers, that we can see they behave in a specific way, they have good ratings, we have seen them performing, they don't tank the price because that's a brand damage for brick and mortgage and etc. So the way we do it in that case, if a brand says, I still want resellers on these product lines, and so we select the sellers for them, and then we send IP claims on the sellers are not behaving. That if you get, if you sell a premium brand and you get one negative review and you can immediately see the photo doesn't match, or the review is very at loud, in terms of the quality, then you immediately can flag it and understand there's something wrong. And another thing we're doing now is that we have seen over and over again is this is like everyday Amazon situation, which is like you are selling Nivea cream, but you're selling it under Sebastian Joseph brand, right? You still hold the material, the secondary images, all the trademarks, everything that is copyrighted. And then you either actually sell Nivea, but you send IP claims to other third-party sellers who jump on the listings to sell Nivea because you're like, no, this is Sebastian Joseph. And Amazon for so long, they were like, yes, this is Sebastian Joseph, it's not Nivea, with literally Nivea on the hero image. And now we can see that it's quite easy for us as the brand agency to actually have Amazon prove them. Is quite fast. Just send the listing and say their trademark, their copywriting, they're stealing our images, etc., and they take them down. So it's very fast.
So it's very important to be enrolled on brand registry, right? For all the brand. Okay.
If you're not, it literally means you're not the owner of your listings that have your brand on them. And again, Amazon can take them down. Some products specifically is so important for the brand owner to have the right attributes in the listing. It's really, really important. And so many times, because the listing was not created by the brand owner and is actually not owned by the brand owner, it can create a lot of problems because it's a brand.
Silvia, the next question is kind of a tricky one. The reason behind is that it depends on the product or category. Okay, but in general, for example, if a brand have their own, for example, they are selling on boots. Okay, they don't have a presence on Amazon. So if they come to you, what will you suggest, vendor or will you suggest Seller Central? Let's say they are selling vitamin tablets.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting you are saying it because I finished a quote yesterday for vitamin tablets for
nice.
vitamin C. So yeah, so basically you were saying if let's say that they are selling on Boots and they are not completely on Amazon, yes?
Amazon, yeah. So will you suggest to go through vendor or will you suggest go to Seller Central?
Okay, that is actually it's a very great, this is a great question and it's a very, very up-to-date kind of topic. We have seen a lot of brands that are premium brands that are also very niche, that kind of prefer going through the vendor pain so they don't have to worry about anything. They're actually having to deal with Amazon, brand registry, Seller Central, agencies, because let's be honest, not every agency can bring the results and is a pleasant experience for brands. So they're like, yeah, vendor, whatever. I still have to meet one brand that is like, I'm so happy to be a vendor. I don't know about you, if you have met them, like, ooh, vendor, ooh.
Vendor is equal to trouble, right?
One of our clients was a vendor, had a vendor account, and then As you know, Amazon shut down a lot of vendors' accounts last year. So they are not a vendor anymore, and they're very glad they're not a vendor anymore. They haven't really seen all this change, because again, if you get the right contractor, if you get the right agency, it's going to work better.
Great. And for the premium brands, how do you differentiate your product on Amazon? Because mainly what I have seen is that in my experience, if you are selling a lot of item, your sell-through is high, you tend to rank higher on Amazon. And pricing plays a big role. Cheap item sells really well on Amazon. It's like eBay back in the days. You get on the top of the search, right? So how can you what are the tools available within Amazon in order to showcase your premium brand?
So there are tools that they offer, but then at the same time, you need to think advertisement. But I would never recommend to think PPC and advertisement in general, to do video advertisement, etc., if the listing is not fixed. So you have to definitely stand out from the competition. With premium brands, sometimes it's hard because they have very specific branding. They have very specific teams doing things in a specific way. So it's hard to input new ideas. So this is also why cheaper brands can act faster upon the trends, right? So while if you work with a bigger kind of brand, a more premium brand, it takes longer, the whole process to be approved for something more interesting.
That's a great answer, Silvia. And what about the creative side on Amazon? Like we have Premium, A+, and we have the brand story. How should they use those modules to express their brands? If they are like established in like 50 years ago, for example, is there any other ways that you express their brands?
Definitely, we've seen that Amazon brands displays are working well if done right. At the same time, we have a very strong team of creatives in Tbilisi, in Georgia. They do an incredible job because they're so used to build brands thinking offline that then for them it's so easy when they see the dashboard on Amazon to be like, yeah, they're the one, even if they don't see the numbers from the software because that's not their job, they can immediately know which one is selling the most because they are so used to, on the shelves, and it's exactly the same principle. Amazon sellers are very like, everybody's doing the thing, let's do the same thing because it's working, and then everybody blends in while you have to maintain the branding but stand out. And the way you do it is with absolutely stunning thinking outside the box, breaking the pattern, hero images, and packaging as well. That's the other thing. When you work with premium brands, a lot of the times they are kind of stuck into their branding for a long time.
And in terms of driving traffic, for example, they have a good presence, right? So they list the item, they launched on Amazon. Will you look to drive traffic from outside, like influencer marketing or maybe TV advertising? So is there any specific channel that you prefer?
Yes, we're doing a lot of work now with micro-influencers. Nice. And Amazon influencer storefront. So then they can get a percentage. So the idea is literally, is the videos. In UK, we don't have the thing where you can actually make a comparison video and that the video appears under your competitor product page yet. We're waiting. Yeah. Open arms, but it's mainly Amazon loves the external traffic. They just love it. So the idea is to go from micro-influencers mainly on TikTok. Then they also have Instagram. You actually don't have to pay them. You give them the product. You give them some, you make them feel important. They maybe have a baby. You have great product for a baby. They can make such a beautiful content. And sometimes, more than ever, are the micro-influencers that really made the viral videos go viral. So you
mentioned micro influencers, right? Not the full-fledged one. So I think the reason behind is the cost, to keep the cost down, or is there any other reason?
It's not, I mean, if you are a premium brand and you have that sort of budget, like, yeah, I'm happy to pay $10,000 one mini video, whatever. But just because the influencer is very well known, it doesn't mean she can sell. And sometimes I feel we are in a phase where people are getting a bit away from celebrities and they're more like into, hey, that's the normal looking neighbor lady
True.
about 300 kilos of silicone in the lips that are actually the ones that are no hate on the silicone lips, but if you know the non-perfection, like TikTok as well, they appreciate the imperfect kind of videos. I remember when we did one, it was literally a video like all the boxes going one on top of the other, and that soft launch got me 1,500 unique visitors on the website in 12 hours without any advertisement and like 90 people in the cart with a terrible light, a very old iPhone, and a terrible brown carpet that, as you know, you lived in Kent as well. So, it's a thing. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fancy. And sometimes that will bring the brands better results. It's very important to know your avatar. I want to say your customer persona. Once you know your customer persona look the content of specific micro influencers too.
Yeah. You put in some valid points, Silvia. And also you mentioned about ICP, right? So when the brands comes in, how do you find the right ICP for that product? What are the websites that you use normally, or is there any other procedures that you have?
We have our team in Tbilisi that does all of that for us. That's their bread and butter. So they can really, because they do creatives, they then have a satellite of contractors as well. Great. So basically, almost anything you need, from like web design to coding to creatives for Amazon, creatives not for Amazon. We do packaging design for online and offline, especially. So you build the brand, you build it right.
And the other question that I have is pricing, right, for the premium brands. So what will be your strategy in terms of pricing? This is again in general, because different companies want different things.
Like premium brands, it's hard, isn't it? Because if you buy, give me an example of a premium brand that comes to your mind right now.
Okay, so let's say face cream.
Yes.
Something.
So let's say Lancome.
Okay.
With Lancome, we all know how Amazon fees work. They're really high. Plus, you need to pay PPC, and so it's way higher than putting it on your website. Let's put it this way. However, when you are Lancome, you need to kind of maintain the retail price point. It's going to be if you sell directly, not through resellers, it's going to be very hard that if your cream is at $50 at Boots or £50 at Boots, that you're going to find it at $75 on Amazon, sold by the brand itself. So the price strategy, you can't really change that much because your buyers will just get upset. So with premium brands, I see more like an event and a season kind of, offers on pricing to spike the sales and the BSR, like Prime Day, Black Friday, and, taking advantage of that, but not really a huge change of price. They can't do that.
Yeah, that's great. And, for example, premium brands, you mentioned it at the starting of the podcast, that resellers or unauthorized sellers selling the product. You mentioned about reporting on brand registry, right? Is there any procedure that you normally follow? Do you send a warning first, or do you just go straight to brand registry and report it?
So it depends. Let's put it this way. We have used one strategy that we use for our brands is that we contact some of the most well-known software that Amazon resellers use to check profits and check if they are ungated, if it's safe to sell the product. This software usually have an IP claim flag So if the brand has ever sent an IP claim out, and if it's recent and if it's in your marketplace, newbies especially will stay away. The resellers that have never sold the brand before will stay away, right? So that has been a huge help for us. So we'd have to work less to kick out hijackers. Of course, like as a reseller, you never want to. I know how much IP claims can affect, small business owners, etc. If you are a good reseller, otherwise, happy days. Here's your IP claim, and bad actors will always be bad actors. In the other side, we monitor actively. The team monitors actively for hijackers, new sellers, the behavior of the sellers, and then trust me, as a reseller, I know is like when you send in a day 2 IP claims to a seller on just one product, they will get off. The good sellers will send an email and try to contact you and say, hey, what's happening? I have thousands of items in stock. Let's talk about that. And then we let the brand decide how they want us to deal with it. Otherwise, it's like a couple of IP claims and they're off.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That's the tricky part. Sometimes they might got the item through the right channel, but maybe the brand didn't recognize it.
Yeah, there are also a lot of bad actors that actually sell cheap, as you were saying at the beginning. Is like they tend to sell cheap, fake garments, for example, that they make a damage to your asset, because if you start to get negative reviews and the brand, like the product for babies and newborns, are not safety tested, etc., that's a problem. Do you remember the huge scandal that happened? I think it was this year, beginning of this year, with the treats for dogs. It was a bad actor that basically was selling under the correct listing. They were maybe they didn't even know they had resellers, like a lot of brands, and they were selling counterfeits, and a dog died from it. And there was, like, imagine the brand damage.
True. The reviews and everything should be tagged.
Literally the brand damage, because it's like, what, this huge brand, well known, right? We give always to my dog the treats, like they kill the dog. They don't understand how Amazon works, and that there was a bad actor selling a counterfeit under the brand. Who knows that? People don't know. So it was a massive problem.
Yeah. Means at the starting you mentioned about transparency, right? I think it's very important for a good brand, a famous brand, to have the transparency in place in order to avoid this kind of scenarios.
Yes, we see it.
Yeah. A lot of small things. And my last question will be for expanding out in the Europe, for example, from UK to Europe. So what will be your procedure in that case? What will be your recommendation?
I have two very nice recommendations. They are literally my girls. Jana, she is the queen of SEO, and she also can change any. I'm going to give you all the links, Seb. So if anybody needs services,
I'll put in the description.
So, and Jana is literally the queen of SEO, and we always make this super fun example where it's like, you cannot take your UK listings and secondary images and just translate it with ChatGPT, which a lot of brands think they can do. You cannot sell to Germans like you sell and appeal to UK or Italians. Every country has different way. Like Italians are more emotional, right? In the way. So if you sell something that is the tomato sauce that reminds you the one of your grandma, that's how Italians buy. Yeah. That's not how Germans buy. It's like the German wants to know, okay, what are the ingredients? What is the level of the salt in it? What's the level of the sugar? How do you use it? Well, like, how do I know it's safe? Like, it's a different word, and you cannot just translate things, because you're going to make huge damage. Plus, the keywords are completely different as well. So a lot of brands, unfortunately, think they can just copy paste and translate, but you cannot. So Jana is your girl. And then definitely we use Maggie from Global Sellers, so from Poland. They are one of the top when it comes to expansion in Europe. So it's a lot of work in terms of understanding that, where to hold the stock and all. After Brexit, I was like, and I'm done with you. So like always, you don't have to do it all. Like Richard Branson doesn't serve cocktails on his planes and doesn't definitely is gonna bring you from one side or the other of the world, right? So it's the same principle. We only work with the top of, in the Amazon game. Whenever someone doesn't the skill set finish, you don't have to learn it from scratch. You just need to know the basics and hire the best in the game.
Oh, that's a very good point, Sylvia. And to launch on Europe, it's like really complicated. The compliance, VAT, it's another game, right? For each country, it have different compliance depending on the product that you're selling. Sylvia, thanks a lot for coming down and all this great advice that you have given us. It's been fantastic. And where the viewers can find you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Seb, for the great questions and such a pleasure to be here with you. They can definitely, I'm going to send you the link and please click the link and get a discovery call with me. It's a free discovery call. Let's see how and if we are the right fit for you and your brand. And I'm looking forward to help you dominate your niche on Amazon.
Fantastic. So I'll put all the links and the LinkedIn profile and discovery call links and everything in the show notes down there. Please do check it out. Thanks again, Sylvia, for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching.